Welcome to You Can't Handle the Truth, where we dive into the real raw truth about health, wellness, and self-growth. I am your Real Talk Guru and your rebel healer, here to cut through the noise and dig deep into mental, physical, and spiritual health, uncovering the truths that many aren't ready to confront. And we're doing that together to step into our true, authentic selves. And today we are talking about regret. Yes, regret. I have a letter here from a young woman, and a question anyway. I have a question from a young woman. And she's over 40. So it fits right in, because generally this is when we start to get into our late 30s. I think that's when we feel regrets. Now, I think I can honestly answer this question and give some insight, because I am now pretty much past the phase of regret in my life. But this question touched me so much because I was there. And when I was there, it did not feel good. And so I felt her pain as I read through this question. Now, she does have some responses to her question, but I'm not going to read those until after I give my insight and my thoughts on this, because I wanted my insight and thoughts to be raw. And so here's her question. How do you handle regret? I'm sure most comments will be, if it were meant for you, or this is a wasted emotion. All of phrases that have not personally helped me, although they are true. There are so many paths I tried to take when I was younger. Friendships, romantic partnerships that I ended. I kind of regret, but now it's too late. I see other people pursuing paths I wish I'd taken and feel badly. I didn't have the insight back then to achieve. I know these are negative emotions, but when you have those thoughts, what truly makes you feel better? So that's a tough question, right? Like, what truly makes you feel better? For me, the path of regret is the path you go through. Regret to get to your path of awakening. That's how I see it, because when I started to feel regret and start to look at other people's lives and wonder why my life was not where I wanted it to be, I had to do some deep introspective thought. Like, I had to really think about what it is that I had been doing that had gotten me to this point, or not gotten me to the point where I thought I wanted to be. I had to think about, are those things that I really wanted? I had to think about all the things that these other people have that I was looking at that seemed to emulate the success that I wanted. Is that what I really wanted? I had to think about the relationships that I had, and were there relationships that I needed to make amends, or were there relationships that I just needed to chalk it up and, take the L? And when I say take the L, it's not really taking the loss, it's learned a lesson. So I had to look at those relationships and see, what lessons did I learn? Now, it's better if this happens earlier, sooner than later, because then you can get on with your life and do the things that you really want and and start to be happy, right? Because regret takes you to, when you're living in regret, you're living in the past. And as she says, she feels like she didn't have the insight to achieve. She knows that these are negative emotions, but it's like, okay, what's gonna make you feel better? What's gonna make her feel better is all the things that I said. It's doing that deep introspective shadow work to see how many people did you let into your life, did you get into relationships with that you really shouldn't have been in relationships with? How many people, how much of your trauma did you project onto others that made you push them away? And made you make some decisions that you are now regretful for. Especially, and regret will come a lot when, let's say you push someone away and then you look at them later and you see like they're living their best, happiest life, right? Let's say you had a romantic relationship. Now that person is living their best life. And you're like, damn, I could have had that life. But did you want that life? What was it that made you, like you have to separate the life that they're living and the person that they were, and were they really for you? Now that could be, or the person that you were at that time, were you ready for them, right? And so when we do this, it makes us look at ourselves and look at ourselves to see the relationship that we have with self. And start to work on that, because I think what's going to make her feel better is starting to do that work and incorporate some self-care routines into her life. Maybe journal and write what is it that she wants in life, because I don't think it's ever too late. I think that usually we're right on time. We're here, we're put here on earth. We have some lessons to learn. Some of us take longer to learn those lessons than others. And once you learn those lessons, you are well on your path. And, it's pretty amazing that I think that, maybe something that took someone else like 30 years to get to, that once you learn the lessons and it's your time, you might be able to achieve your goals in a shorter period of time, because now you are no longer in regret. You're focused on your future. You're focused on the present and what you need to do. You're focused on yourself and the work that you need to do. If there were some things that you projected, some of your shadow self, and when I say your shadow self, I mean some of your negativity that you had, hurts and things that you projected onto others that made you push someone away. Now, the reason why this really hit home for me was because, I currently have a relationship where we were separated when we were younger. And some of them were because of actions of others. Some of them were because of my actions, and maybe even his actions, right? And when I realized that I was regretful, right? I consulted with my spirit team. I consulted with my God, whoever your God is. That's who you would consult with, or the universe, if you don't believe in God. Whoever it is that you consult with. And I made a decision that it was okay to talk to them. And at least to apologize, right? And, long story short, we ended up back in each other's lives, and that's been the best thing that's ever happened. And you would think that the 20 years that we lost, that we've done so much in the last 10 years together, that probably now when I retrospectively, right, with all the regret, that maybe we would have mucked it up back then. Had we gotten together, maybe we wouldn't even be the people that we are like right now. Or maybe we would have, right? But the thing is that you have to look at it from a point of view that yes, like she says, what was meant to happen was meant to happen. And that doesn't always make it feel better. But first of all, you have to make amends where amends are due. And just because you go to make amends with someone does not mean that they are going to accept your apology, right? So that means that that apology that you're making is for you, so you can move on, so you can move out of regret. Forgiveness, because forgiving anything anyone has done to you is going not to be for them, because forgiveness doesn't mean that they're going to apologize for what they've done. It means that you're letting go of that so you can move on. Next is, what did I say? Forgiveness, making amends, forgiveness. And then it's going to be about you taking care of yourself and finding out what it is that you really want. Because maybe 20 years ago, you didn't even know what you were really looking for in a relationship. But the regret comes because after all these years, now you have a clear picture of what you want. And when you see other people have it, now you're like, damn, I would like to have that. Although you don't know what's really going on in their relationship. It's just the outward picture that you're seeing, but that's a story for another day. But still, you want to get clear on what you want. And it's pretty amazing when we're clear on what we want, how quick we can get the results that we want. So what I would say to this young woman is just think about that. Think about healing herself, whether it's that someone did something to her, because sometimes we have wounds from our parents. And you know what? If my parents would have done this way, or, my dad wouldn't have left and he would have stayed, then, I would have had a different life, because look at this friend of mine that had her dad in their life and look how her dad treated her. When you do that, you live in a place where you can't heal, because you're just stuck in a moment that really wasn't. You didn't have that. That's the truth. The truth is that's not what you had. Is it okay that you want that? Some of the things that I didn't have in my life, through my self-care routines, I've learned to give that love to myself. And so that also entails setting boundaries, right? Knowing what you want and then setting boundaries with the people around you, because when we are in regret, right, and we're kind of like panting at what someone else has, like you're like a little puppy, you're panting at what someone else has. And, that panting makes you appear to others as you're needy, right? And when you appear needy, it opens up the door for other people to come in and just kind of sometimes cross your boundaries and treat you in ways that you would not expect, because you're just now opening up the door and letting people come in because you're like, oh, I'm going to grab that. And sometimes the other thing is that if you stay in regret, sometimes like you're open to grabbing the first thing that comes, because you know what, it's like you're desperate for that love. You're desperate for that attention. If it's a relationship, sometimes the regret is in, our careers, right? We wish we would have taken that class or gone to school or gotten the education, or maybe we wish that we wouldn't have, that we did all this schooling and now what are we going to do with the degree? I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I would have gone to work sooner and then waited to get that advanced degree. See, there's a lot of regret. There's a lot of different things to be regretful for. And so regret is something deeply personal and something that leads, like I said at the beginning, leads you back to introspection so that you can heal yourself, know yourself, take care of yourself, set boundaries, forgive, make amends, and step into your present moment so that you can live your best life ever. You know, I hope that makes sense. I know it sounds a little woo-woo. No, it's not woo-woo. It sounds like a lot of work. It is work. It's a lot of work. It's knowing when to let go, when you just make amends, when to forgive. And if you have somebody that you're constantly like, you're beating a dead horse about, like, oh, that person did this to me, that's something you need to heal. Because the longer you stay in that mental space of that person did this to me, you remain a victim. And the more you remain a victim, the more you bring more energies into your life that will victimize you. Once you decide that you're not a victim anymore, that you heal, it's a slow process. You do one at a time if you need to. But once you decide, you will get to a point where you're confident, where any past regrets that you had, because the regrets will be past tense then, you will have a clear picture in your mind of why you feel all those things happen, what lessons you learned from those things, and how you're going to use those lessons to move forward and to be present and to get all those things that you want in your life. Because the truth is that probably the things that you wanted when you were 20 are not the things that you want when you're 40 or 50. I mean, we all want love, right? But the way that love looks when you're 20 and when you're 40 or 50 is a lot different, let me tell you. And it can be a lot better. So, I mean, that's what I would tell her, is that if she takes the time to heal, that she's got a lot of better days ahead of her, and she's gonna find herself having the things she wants and more. So with that said, I just want to take a quick look and see what some other people may have said to her. So, and then I want you to drop me a comment and let me know if you resonate with what I said, or if you have any additional advice based on your own experience. So someone says, be kind. I would be kind to my past self. She made the best decision she could at the time with the information that she had and that person that she was. Now it's up to me to make the best decision I can from the position I am in. Exactly. I agree with that, but how is she going to do that? She's going to need to heal. Next person says, it's all about looking forward. There isn't a soul on this earth without regrets. Anyone that claims that they have no regrets, I call bullshit. I have regrets. I try not to dwell on them. I agree, but I think that we all have regrets, but those regrets are what leads us to no longer being regretful, because that's, like I said, that's when you heal. And once you heal, those feelings of regret, it's not as if you stop wishing. You will, it is as if, actually, you will stop wishing that those things could have happened that didn't happen. You will stop, because you will have a better understanding of why they happened, that maybe somebody else was not capable. And once you realize that somebody else was not capable, like let's say it's a relationship, someone else was not capable in being or giving you what you needed in a relationship, then it doesn't matter. There's no reason for regret. They just couldn't do it, right? If they couldn't do it, then you forgive and you move on. Let's see if what someone. Someone says, I read somewhere that if people are not happy with their present life, they tend to dwell in the past. Exactly. I try to remember that there is no guarantee that the road untraveled would have turned out just as we expected. Exactly. That's what I said. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Beautifully said. And we also made thousands of decisions throughout our lives. And unfortunately, the positive outcomes don't stand out as much as the negative ones. Try giving the gift of making your current life more fulfilling. Regret takes so much energy. And let's be real, we've already analyzed what went wrong 1,000 times already. Have we not? I love that. I think I'm going to stop there because, yes, it's the gift of giving, of making your current life more fulfilling. And that's going to encompass healing. It's going to encompass your self-care, showing yourself love and the boundaries that you need. And so that you know what you want for your life from this day forward. All right. Well, thank you for joining me for today's episode of You Can't Handle the Truth. My name is Natalie, and I want you to stay beautiful. I want you to stay empowered. I want you to stay inspired, and I want you to stay sexy so you can keep taking care of yourself and those around you. And don't forget to comment, subscribe so you can know when I upload the next episode. And definitely drop me a comment and let me know what you think about regret and how you've dealt with that. I would love to know. And remember, stay in the present moment. Regret keeps you in the past. Peace and love.